We're good. Where are you located?
Okay, cool. Well, right now in Montenegro, Europe.
Okay, excellent. You everything just sounds like you just live exciting adventures all the time.
Yes, probably.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's my life. I
that's
cannot
awesome.
like compare to any other life because it's each of us has a like own life, and I feel like we have own dreams, and I believe like I cannot compare my life to any other lives because that's what I live.
It's the only one you know. Well, I'm coming out of
Exactly.
yeah, I'm coming out of the middle of America in Kansas City, Missouri. It's great to meet you. Thank you for taking a minute out today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's my
Famous
pleasure.
interviews.
Exactly. So I would like to begin our conversation with the whole COVID thing and surviving a pandemic, especially with you traveling as much as you do and all of the things that you do. How did you survive that time period, that 4 year period? And how did it change the way that you do things now?
Um, well, I just moved to Miami. It was my, I think, 3 months or something like that in Miami. So I realized that I don't have friends. I mean, the friends that actually I can count on. And I just moved to the apartment that I found, the apartment of my dreams that I kind of imagined for myself in the neighborhood that I wanted to live. I got a job and boom, everything is just stopped. And I didn't, of course, I was like surprised. First, I was thinking, oh, maybe just take like a week. I don't know, like 3 weeks, whatever. But it was like a long time. We after months, I got like started to feel like more scared. Because because I couldn't transfer the money from other countries, and it was like a whole things that new country and why I moved here. I cannot, travel back. And that moment, my base was in Portugal, Lisbon, and for me, it was like whole huge change how to survive in that moment. So I started to go to different like a Facebook pages, ask the friends that I know. In that moment, I finished like a gratitude training. It's like leadership training. I don't know if you hear about Landmark.
Yeah.
So it's like similar to that. And so I started to ask people from that environment. So I got a job and relocated to the like take care of the kids. And I remember that I started to do more art. It was like more and more art. I started to just develop it because I was working with the kids and I was like helping them to be creative and started to be more and more creative myself. And I started to promote myself through the Instagram, that moment and just showing my artwork and people started to buy my artwork more and more. And that's how I transform and be confident to be an artist. So 2021, I started already like a career full time as an artist. And that was, one of the big switch in my life because I was thinking I will continue with property management in Miami, like just moving to more like luxury property management. And, but it didn't work that way. So I got to change to completely different because art, it was just my hobby. I never considered myself like an artist. I
Yeah.
was like, oh, just a hobby. I'm doing it like because I like it. And I choose to actually move towards that because I was like, why not? Let's try it. It's nothing to lose. And here I am, traveling and writing a books right now. I wrote like several books that moment as well. But I didn't publish it. I was just sharing around my friends, and now I published the book, and so it started. Everything is switching towards more creativity. Like creativity become part of my reality, and mentoring people, about creative thinking and giving different ideas, brainstorming, and it's like life is like switching in amazing magical way. I can say
Yeah.
like this. It was crazy experience and magical.
Yeah, for sure. So let me ask you this. If I put you in front of a bunch of third graders at career day right now, and one of the
Okay.
kids said, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" How would you answer that child?
Um, I would probably like tell them, I'm helping people to think creative.
Yeah,
I'm serving people to think creative and think.
yeah. So what did you want to be in the 3rd grade? What was your ultimate dream to grow up and become?
Well, that moment of my life, I want to be a dentist.
Okay.
That first time I went to the doctor, dentist, in the 3rd grade, and it's fascinated me. Like it was so many different things, and I want to be dentist. So that moment, I want to be like a dentist, but it's rich, of course. After
Yeah,
a while, I couldn't be a doctor at
yeah,
all because I cannot handle blood.
yeah. So you obviously have that creativity in you to be an artist at being one now, and it came in late in life. But take me back to where you were born and raised and how these seeds got into you to grow into becoming an artist and an author and a creative. How did all of this kind of evolve into who you are today?
Well, it's long story short. I've been raised in a lot of different environments than with a bunch of other kids. So I didn't have experience like a real like a parent's love. And so in the beginning of my childhood, it was like somewhere in the middle of Siberia, between like a border Russia and Mongolia, and in very little village. Russia it was before it was a Soviet Union, so it was a little bit um, like socialistic, communistic way of living. Everything is kind of like um, together. I don't know how to explain. I didn't experience so much, but like I just, as a kid, I was living with many other kids so that we get to share everything. We get to like eat together. We get to um, like play together. I didn't have my own space. I didn't have like my own room. I get to share. Every time all my life, I get to share the clothes, my shoes, absolutely everything what I had. So I didn't have like toys. I didn't have like my toys or like so it's started to change when I didn't know how to communicate probably myself. So I started to run away as a kid to like outside of different places, but I always be bring back by the adults. And I was trying to kind of like run away. Probably as a kid, there was something in my mind. I don't know. I just know that I was one day I would just give up. I said like it doesn't matter how far I will run away, I will be back to the same place. So I just accepted. And when I grew up a little bit and I started to go to the school, I learned to read. I love reading. I started to love reading so much. So I read like a lot of fairy tales and a lot of like kids magazines. I would love to be in the library. And when I was in the age of 8, I decided to learn like English myself. I was finding this like information, one of this like a magazines about like a school that they're sending you um, like a books in English. Because in my school, nobody like teach you English. I had like a German at school, but we didn't have like any other like other languages. So it was my own kind of like motivation of learn English that time. So I wrote like a long letter explain to the school my my like my environment, how I live and who I am, and they started to send me all the information for years. And I was like doing my best to learn myself English because I didn't have anyone who can teach me. And I remember it was like a cassette. That's that time, and I was receiving these cassettes as well, and different like a store, like a magazine kind of like that in English, where you like one part is in Russian, one part is in English, and after you get to kind of like learn. So I was very creative and self motivated. I always was curious, like every time asking myself question. And I remember I started to write a journaling since I was probably like 9 years old, my own journaling. And I was journaling like everything was happening in my day and for years and years. And I was started to write my own fairy tales and after like my own like novels when I was being a teenager. So I did it just for myself, you know, and um, and I feel like it's all like that creativity was by self-motivated and curiosity that I was living, like exploring. And I love to explore. I love to go to like outside of the like like this little town when I was living, and by myself. Many times I was just going miles away, and like looking for something, like looking for like beautiful flowers, and I just love it. And that, I think, like that's the joy of exploration, the joy of going and exploring new places and new countries. Is like part of who I am since I'm kid. Just I just love it. I
Yeah.
just love to learn and to explore.
So who's been a hero for you in your life? Who's been an inspiration?
Well, you mean like as a kid or like as like right now?
In general. Yeah, it could be both. Yeah.
When I was a kid, that was probably some of my heroes was a genie. Remember the Aladdin, the from the Aladdin cartoon? I don't know if you know that.
Yeah.
There was a genie, so I like, for example, him. I like Aladdin as well. I was as a kid, and as an adult, I started first. I like Prime Minister of Portugal. And when I was moved to Portugal, like when I started to do the business and stuff, so I started to kind of look up to different heroes. So Antonio Guterres, I don't know if you know, he's right now in the United Nations. Um, and before that, I also like Mandela, Gandhi, one of my inspiration. And I read their biographies, and Barack Obama. Hannah, great, like and Michelle Obama, she's a great inspiration. And who else? And I think Elon Musk is a good inspiration. Um, yeah, and probably Jack Fresco. I don't know if you know, he is the Venus Project. He's inventor. He was amazing human being. Yeah, so I had like few few
Yeah.
people that inspire me.
Yeah. So on in your travels, you've seen a lot of the world. What's been one of the most magical places, a place you didn't expect was going to be as magical or beautiful as it was?
Italy. Italy is my favorite place.
Yeah.
It's so magical, like all these small cities, big cities. It's so much magic in that. And for me, it's like a fairy tale. It's remind me so much like from the fairy tale, like when I imagine the fairy tale. So it's beautiful country, and like so much to explore and so much to learn. Like I feel like that's was a part of the Renaissance, and for me, when the Renaissance was um, discovered or like developed, so I feel that was a part of this fairy tale that people really started to create in their real life. Um, yes, so it's Italy.
Yeah, I
I've
agree.
come back so many times.
I've been there a few times. I totally agree. And of all the places I've been to on the planet, Rome was just something that I can't even put my finger on. It was amazing. So I 100% agree. So I'm curious, every day you wake up, what's your motivation to do all of these things, to create, to see the world? What is that ultimate motivation for you?
Curiosity,
Yeah.
and learn about people, and I love to listen to people's stories, and I love to learn from people. And some people, wh- many people I meet in my life, they they're not so happy. They're always like chasing something, and they're always like trying to kind of like um I don't know, like I feel happiness within, and we're creators of our own reality. And I feel like it's we get to chase ourselves. We get to compare ourselves from yesterday, who we want to be tomorrow, like, and work every day and be a little bit better, and also get clarity in what it is to be a better human, what it is to have a great values and principles and following them, not just because I want to do that. Be your own great inspiration. Just follow your heart. That's that's what I do in my life.
So, as a creative, who's been one of your favorite artists or authors?
Authors, Paulo Coelho and Robin Sharma,
Yeah,
and artists from my perspective, Michelangelo, one of the great, I don't know, creators. He was doing many things, and probably of the recent one for me is Salvador Dali and Picasso. I
yeah,
think more Salvador Dali. He was a crazy, inspiring, fun, joyful. He was living in his own world,
yeah.
and he really embodied himself as a Salvador Dali.
I agree. So, what was the first time that you sold a painting or you saw someone that was really moved by something you created? Do you remember that moment?
Sure. Well, in my life, I feel like when people get inspired by what I'm creating, and I'm asking the question, what do you see? What do you see in my in this painting or in this artwork? And they stay like one of the first my buyers, they said like, because who I am, they just feel see the energy, and that's they just would like to have a piece of me, or like piece of what I'm creating, or like something that will remind them of that this joyful and happy people exist, and they would like to make themselves a little bit more joyful by looking at this artwork that I created.
It's such a unique position to be in because I sell artwork too. People are making a lifetime commitment. They want that piece to last for the rest of their lives. How many things do we consume that you can actually say that about? Not that many things. I mean, even a
Yeah.
book, you wanna pass it along. Like, I like to hold on to some books, but I would rather get rid of them because other people can read them. But with artwork, it's like capturing the essence of you. They wanna hold on to that
Hmm.
for the rest of their lives. It's kind of a I've thought about that quite a bit. It's kind of a cool idea.
Yeah, because people, one of the first my art collectors, he said to me that I'm the most joyful and happy human being he ever met, and he was in his 60s, I think, like close to 60s. And I was like, I really like, I appreciate and I value your feedback, and I really appreciate that what he was seeing and sharing with me. Um, it's really touched my heart, and I feel like I can, touch more hearts by
Yeah.
creating my art and writing my books.
So of everything that you've done to this point in your life and evolved into, what are you the proudest of?
That I send my art to the space.
Yeah.
I'm one of the first artists in the world who sent the art, and my art is engraved in the golden plates and right now flying somewhere in the space.
Wow. That's totally cool. So let me ask you this. If you had a dream tonight and you could run into that little girl that had to share everything and was trying to figure out this life, if you could give advice to that young version of you, what advice would you give that young version?
Always dream big. All the dream is possible. Absolutely anything is possible. Always. Just
So,
be open and grateful.
yeah, for sure. So, what's your vision? Let's say we talk 10 years from now. Where do you want to see your life at? What's kind of your vision?
Well, my next um, my next dream, I would like to invent like a ship. I'm still like kind of like figuring out the way I want to do that. Like ship that's going to rotate around the Earth and do the art. Kind of like I still don't know what type, but I was like I have this imaginary that I will be in a space and I will just create with all this like a big kind of like a ship, kind of like a robot ship that can do art on the space. It's one of the things I would like to accomplish in these next 10 years. And the other things I would like to send a rocket, I call it like a peace rocket with selected artists from around the world, and each artist can create something on like little piece of this rocket, and we send this like a unity rocket, peace rocket that we all want. and I would like to go around the world in the biggest sailing boat that ever was built.
Excellent.
So I
So
would like the
yeah,
big dreams.
100%, 100%. So at the end of the day, everyone out there has this perception or this idea of you. Family, friends, everyone that, that reads your work or gets your artwork, but you ultimately run your life. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
I'm a creator, artist, just a creative human being, and just joyful human. I don't like, sometimes I ask myself what it is to be a woman. And, it's just so blurry right now, like, especially like in the modern world. And I feel like I just get to be me.
Yeah.
And what is me is just like I'm changing every day. And I don't know um, what I'm going to be in 5 years, but I just know that I'm creative. I'm all my life creative. I'm always figuring out in a very creative way how I want to continue to live my life. And I always have so much. I never bored with myself. I'm like, have so much to do every day. So I'm like, what's next? Always getting with like this great attitude of continue to enjoy each day of my life and continue to be authentic myself by sharing, myself in a joyful and happy way. And I'm always like looking for solution, and I'm not like looking at the problem. I'm always like looking for solution and what I can do, how I can improve. Right now in Montenegro here, and we're going to by the beach, and I'm like, it's a little bit garbage here, and I'm like, I get to go next day pick up, get the garbage bag and just come and start to pick up this garbage on the beach. This is what I do. I'm like always like looking for what I can do better, and I don't know it's better for others. I know that it's just what I feel. It's better for me, you
Yeah.
know. And that's what I see, and this is what I do to make it happen. Action. I'm action oriented.
Absolutely. So if anyone wants to pick up the Joyful Living Guidebook, your artwork, anything else that you've done, reach out. What's the best way for people to do that?
Joyful Living Guidebook is on Amazon. You just write Joyful Living Guidebook or like Joyful Living Guide by Aisha Makara, and you will find it there. Or by going to my website, aisha.today. You will find all the information on my articles, on my art, going to my Instagram account where you can connect directly with me and, ask my artwork that I'm creating. I can show you one of my last pieces I created.
Oh, wow. Very nice. I dig it.
It's
That's cool.
Yeah, it's called like a golden galaxy, of unity.
I love it. I love it. I love your spirit. I love what you do. Thank you. You're shining such a good light into the world. Keep doing the wonderful work, exploring this planet, and thank you for taking a little time out today for the show.
Joyful living, namaste.
Yes.
Thank you very
Namaste.
much for
Yes.
having me here. I really appreciate it. And you have a great energy as well. I'm so happy to meet you
Thank you.
online.
It's been wonderful. Have a wonderful day.